The gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Johnson, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you. I want to echo my support for this discussion and some of the concerns brought around. I think it's important to remember that today's hearing isn't about whether members feel that the rules are transparent. It's about whether the American people feels that the rules are transparent. And since taking office earlier this year, I've heard from countless constituents who are deeply concerned that members of Congress operate under a different set of rules than the people we serve, as has been eloquently outlined today. And the issue isn't about assuming bad intent. It isn't about pointing fingers. It's about acknowledging the environment we serve in and working to do better. Congress today faces historically low approval ratings, and if we want to rebuild our constituents' trust in the government, we have to address their skepticism because it's real. And we have to show people that we are willing to hold ourselves to the highest standards. We can do everything to make a body as sure as, removed from potential conflicts. But when we appropriate funds for community projects, we certify that no one in our families has any financial interest in those. We hold each other accountable to the Ethics Committee, where members face their peers' adherence to this conduct. But when it comes to straight stock trading, the rules are very, very lax, and they definitely need to be strengthened. I support this effort. This bill would be an important step towards addressing the corruption in Washington, and these reforms are not overly burdensome, and they're not impossible to achieve, and it's something that is definitely worth pursuing. Some comments that I've had about just the general discussion today, I absolutely feel that it is imperative that this applies to all branches of government, because the trust deficit that the American people has is with all branches of government. Ethics, high integrity of the process should apply to the legislative branch, to the judicial branch, as well as the executive branch. It needs to be transparent through all of it. Not one branch should be exempt from appropriate ethics in this case. And I do want to echo Chairman Stile and Mr. Griffith's comments and concerns about the small family business, and what to do with that. And maybe there's a capitalization limit that we could address so that you're not talking about your family business is Microsoft, but your family business is owning a pool, and there's a very large difference in terms of your ability of the effects of your service here on that business. So maybe there's a capitalization requirement that we could put out there. One of the issues, and I do think that the divestment issue is something that is of concern. I'm a new member of Congress. I've been trying to divest my own portfolio. As members have said, you want people who've had success in their professional career to come here. You want people who have been able to be proficient in life. But we have to have a balance of public trust. So one of the questions I have for you guys is, what is a reasonable time to achieve divestment? As when you are a new member of Congress, what is that time period? Is it 30 months, 6 months, a year? Is it through the next electoral term? What do you think is the reasonable time period to achieve a full divestment? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on the type of investment. The bills here mostly contemplate a 90 or 180-day type window. For a publicly traded security that's liquid, I think that's reasonable. Again, the tax treatment really matters here. But if you're able to just roll that gain to the future and divest, where you're taking your shares of Exxon and making them shares in the S&P 500 index, then that works just fine. If you're talking about venture capital, private equity, it becomes much more complicated, and I think there has to be some allowance made there, and just get the ethics office involved in those sorts of cases, because it's not reasonable to say you have to dump that immediately in those sorts of cases, but it's still something we need to watch.
So you think that different time periods for divestment should be put in place based on the nature of the investment versus a standard, if you're going to come to Congress, you need to be divested by X day.
Yeah, I think
plan for that.
I think the context matters. Something like a pool is a good example, where you've got a pool, you can't really sell that. Maybe that's got a de minimis exception.
Require divestment at all, because the impact of serving in Congress on probably a low-capitalized community pool. Maybe that's, I mean, where
And
does
that
it
would maybe be a small business exemption, which are in some of these, et cetera. But let's say, Steve Ballmer says, oh, well, the LA Clippers aren't doing so well. I want to go run for Senate in California. And he's got a massive stake in Microsoft, for example. Yeah, how do you handle that? It's not a super clear, easy answer on those sorts of questions. And it's a little complicated, more complicated than the average person who'd come in to be a member.
Thank you. I yield back.
The gentlewoman